The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
Am I late?
No, you're on
5 minutes.
5 minutes late, yeah.
5. Who are you looking at his watch there?
Thinking, that's fine. Going back to Bolton, it must be about 2 hours late, isn't it? Yeah. So first of all, just check how you are. As soon as someone mentions a medical reason.
It's a standard check-up for me, and unfortunately I'm 63 now, and my life evolves around keeping on top of my health, which means regular checks in, which had been an appointment that had been arranged for a long time before I decided to take up the Everton job, and clearly more important that I just get the once over and the okay because of this job really. So I'm not expecting anything other than an all clear and moving on. So I didn't want, at all costs really, didn't want to miss that appointment.
One of the things you have also a bit of time with the young Evertonian and George Shaw. What was that like?
George is outstanding lad. Obviously he's endeared himself to the Everton fans, and I think that me and myself, just in the short period of time that I met him in the indoor arena the other day, and his enthusiasm, big smile on his face, and I believe scored a wonderful goal as well. So
goal of the season.
Goal of the season. So yes, and a community work at every football club is vitally important, and every football club takes it massively serious, and none more so than Everton. On the short period of time I'm here speaking with Denise, I think it was, Denise, and she outlined just how much they do in the community here in Liverpool, and my job is to help whenever I can, and to support, and as well as the players, and keep that side of it going, and keep promoting it, and obviously George is, one who's benefited from that.
Looking at the football side of things, how impressed were you with what you saw last night?
Oh, massively. I mean, you mix some senior players with some younger players, and you're playing in a Europa League game against a team that I think drew 2-2 here at Goodison, and really we outplayed the opposition for virtually the entire 90 minutes for me, and I think that that mixture was. Blended exceptionally well. So Dunk and Craig putting it together so quickly, and implementing a few things that they wanted to see from the players in both areas of the pitch. One, in the flair that we showed in how we mastered the ball better than them, and then how well, not always, but how well in the main we defended. And then of course when we didn't defend so well, our goalkeeper was spot on with the saves that he made. So I was thoroughly impressed by the whole performance of not just the youngsters, but all the players' attitude, and their attitude goes a long way to showing that they want to, either if you're a youngster, break into the team, or if you're a senior player, they put a performance on that says, I can look forward to them getting in the team, and hopefully they can command a place in the team when they get the opportunity.
How much does it raise a question as well over team selection and their possible inclusion this weekend?
Well, it's a bit difficult because they're going to get back today, and of course the whole reason for the way we selected that side was to leave the vast group of players here to get ready to play against Liverpool on Sunday, and of course some of those players who played will certainly be on the subs bench who played last night. But they have impressed me, which is something that I want to see. I don't want to see people sulking and thinking, well, why am I here? I want to see people be professional, and that's exactly what all the players did last night. They performed to a very good level, And in all fairness, we should have won by even more than 3, in my opinion. So it was a great watch for me on BT last night. Sorry about that.
We're not lying.
You can edit that. You've gone red with me now. Sorry.
So what have you done with the players that have stayed behind? What have you been able to do? What have you been able to learn from them?
I think that we've just been installing some of the basics that we believe in, and about a team play. You know, how we affect each other's game as a team, and how we live or die by our teamwork and working for each other in and out of possession, and what sort of areas do we want to try and expose, and when we're keeping the ball, why are we keeping the ball? What are we keeping the ball for? Well, and doing a little brief rundown, little by little. Information has to come in small doses if you want to retain it, not in big doses. So it's one thing at a time for us, and I'm really pleased with the response of the players and their attitude, and we hope we bring a freshness to what one or two things they perhaps may have not seen before, which may interest them and may help them, and generally want to enjoy myself. I want to see smile, laugh, and laugh and joke at the right time. Of course, we need to be serious always in training at the right times, but it's really about the mood of the camp, the mood of the training camp. Really, is it feel good or doesn't it? And as a manager of many years now, you can feel it when you come into a football camp. You can feel if you're going in the right direction, and I feel that because the results have gone well, it's been a massive boost for me and the rest of the staff to settle in even quicker than we expected.
Already you're being linked with possible incomings in January. Aubameyang.
But I've got 31 pros and they're all fit now, so I need to really assess those players. And I think that my major concern at the moment is that I think we've got Phil back and Michael Keane back, which is good. But like Baines, Ross Barkley, Seamus Coleman, Yannick Bolasie, not in the squad at the moment, is as well as others who are a bit more long term, who would be and play major parts in Everton's side at the moment, is my concern. When and how long will it take them to become back before they get back into the squad? And as soon as we get those players back added into the squad, gives me a greater headache, if you want, in the right way on team selection. But the players at the moment doing a fantastic job, both the ones that played last night and the team that played in the 2 wins back to back. But Liverpool's a different kettle of fish. It's the big test and the big derby with the players who are in outstanding form on the front line, particularly at the minute, that we've got to try and master on Sunday.
Obviously, though, before you arrived, the general view was that Everton needed to have brought in another striker to replace Romelu Lukaku. Aubameyang would effectively fit the bill.
Possibly, I mean, but it is the hardest thing it is the hardest thing to recruit today. A centre forward who scores goals. And is it the right type of centre forward that scores goals for you? That most expensive area in the pitch today. With a number of players here, that got reasonably good goal scoring records that perhaps might settled in. Niasik, when he came from Russia, scored a few this year though. Sandro hasn't quite settled yet. Malaga, lots of goals last year. So so there are some people who've scored goals over here. But if there's one out there that's ready and ready-made, it would be one expensive and two, is it the right one? And it's my opinion that my first signing has to be correct, has to be the right signing for Everton and for my future. Because you make bad signings, you get the sack. You make good signings, you become a better manager. It's that simple.
Is that a yes or no then to Aubameyang?
I'm not telling you.
Well deflected.
Well, I was giving you. That's a fine. How's that? How much is that?
£10.
£10, okay. Does it go to the community?
Yeah.
It used to be 25 at Crystal Palace. Perhaps that's because it was London, was it?
Bitcoin, he says.
Bitcoin, I wish I'd have invested in that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm told it's a bit dodgy, isn't it?
Well, it started at 1,000, started this year, it's 14,000 now.
Yeah, but it could just collapse like that. So there's no, yeah,
It's mountain.
I wouldn't risk it.
Really not.
Well, that's fine.
Well, I won't risk it at 14 grand to throw now. I'd risk it at £1 grand. You know what I mean? I bet you're surprised I knew the price of Bitcoin, aren't you?
No, not really.
No, okay.
No. I'm just shrewd. Okay. So, looking ahead then to the Merseyside derby, I mean, you've obviously looked at it from afar before. What do you make of everything that surrounds it? And to be involved in it now, what's it like?
Well, yeah, I've been involved in many derbies in my managerial career, particularly in the Premier League, and I think that like everything else, this is two clubs in the city that are clashing together with a great history that has an atmosphere that's unique to the city and unique in derby terms. So it's about us handling that pressure and about us handling that atmosphere, as well as handling a team that I have to admit as probably in the best form it's been in since Jurgen arrived, and one of the best strike forces available in the Premier League that we certainly, with no question of a doubt, have to master on Sunday before we think about, can we get at Liverpool when we're in possession? Can we get in the right areas to try and get an opportunity to score a goal and not waste the possession that we get and not let this occasion overawe us? And I think that is the most important thing, to deliver a performance that is going to be tactically right to block off the areas that Liverpool try and work in, and then us in possession is how good are we going to be when we get that possession. I think we will all face the fact that we know that we won't have probably as much possession as as Liverpool on Sunday. But what possession we do have, how well are we going to maximise it? How well are we going to use it, and make sure that we do use it correctly and in the right manner? And I think that if we get a chance, and when we get a chance, we need to score. We need to be very clinical in our finishing when it comes along, I think, and that can hopefully give us a good performance and at the end of that a result.
Obviously, other teams have tried to stop that front three, front four, if you like. Have you been able to identify areas that you can do differently to other teams? Is that where you come up with a game?
Well, sometimes you just have to hold your hands up and say the pure genius of the movement and the quality of all the players that are here, that you can't sort of say, look, if we can block these two players off, we will stop Liverpool. It's more than that at the moment, the way they're going. It's 4 or 5 for me, and that's the hard bit. That's the hard bit for us. That's because that interchange of movement and the runs that they make and the skill of having the ball, and also the finishing ability is increased. That they don't have to rely on 1 or 2 people to score goals. They've got goals all around the front line now. So we've got to make sure that we try our very best to cope with that. And then, like I said, if we do cope with that, what do we do when we get the ball? If we're not going to be clinical and show enough quality with the ball when we get it, then we're going to struggle to get out of our own half. And then if we don't get out of our own half, then ultimately we'll make a mistake and maybe Liverpool capitalise on it. So, we won last year at Palace when I was there. And that was after going 1-0 down. So I've got to look at that, area of, what do we do when I was at Palace? But yet again, I think the team at Liverpool is playing much better today than when we played in that game when I was manager of Crystal Palace. But it can be done.
And Jurgen says from Everton, he expects organisation, good set pieces, having to fight for second balls. Should they expect a little bit more from this Everton team, though?
It depends it depends how the individual and collectively we play as a team. Like I mean, we made 26 passes before we scored a goal last night. Like I mean, so but will we have the room to put 26 passes against Liverpool? What we don't want to do is we don't want to play into Liverpool's hands. So what Liverpool try and do to us, we will try and avoid. In other words, if they do a high press, and the high press is about trying to win the ball back as quickly as possible, then why are we going to try and play out from the back? Is that a good idea or isn't it? You will never know until we play on Sunday, whether we do play out the back or whether we don't. I think that playing into the right areas for us and playing the right way for us against Liverpool in possession is what we must try and do. And it's what we did at Crystal Palace last year, and it's why we won, because we played our game, which ended up on the day being better than their game, and their game wasn't good enough as our game because we won 2-0. So our game, probably not the right word, but our tactics, say, paid dividends on that day. It'll be the same again. But their natural talent at the moment and their flair is obviously a concern to us that we've got to try and stop.
And with the squad of players that you've got, are there any concerns that history in this fixture weighs on the players involved when you consider that it's 1999 since Everton last won at Anfield?
Absolutely. I think that the whole occasion is a great test for the players that we have. I think that the occasion they need to rise to, the occasion that it's a one-off, and however good Liverpool are playing at the moment, it is a derby match, anything can happen. All I can ask the players to do is give of their best, play their best game. Still might not be good enough to do anything against Liverpool because of the form they're in. I mean, they've just gone and done five at Brighton, and they've just gone and done 7 in the Champions League. Like, I mean, and you say that Sparta Moscow are not that good. Well, they're a lot better than you think. It's just that Liverpool were brilliant on the night and made them look very poor. I mean, they wouldn't be playing in the Champions League if they weren't that good.
Jamie Carragher said that if you were to beat Liverpool, you'd be regarded as a hero. They'd build a statue. Is it that big?
It is. Sunderland fans said they were going to build one when we beat Newcastle, but that's not quite happened yet. But it's such an important game for everybody, particularly the Evertonians and the fans. So I've got to try and make sure the players give their best on the day, and if they can do that under the why not do you want to wake up on Sunday morning and look forward to this game? Go with a positive frame of mind and really look forward to it. Know what your strengths are and play to your capabilities, and let's see if we can get a result.
I know you've touched upon it there, Sam, about it being a mental thing as well. Jurgen said earlier you faced him 3 times in his short spell in England so far, and every time you've done a job on him, you only actually won one of those 3. So do you think already you may be in there already?
Well, I haven't been here that long, like you mean, so I haven't, and I haven't had a lot of time to go to the lengths and depths I've gone to with the other teams I've had in that plan, and of course I've got a completely different set of players here, so it would all be about those players taking on board the information that we give them and try and then carry it out, without taking away their responsibility to make the right decisions at the right time. Ours is only guidance for them to do the right things at the right time in the right areas, which is about getting the basics right. And then their responsibility is, where do I run? Where do I play this ball? How do we get up the pitch? How do we get in Liverpool's box and try and expose some of their weaknesses? And then out of possession, how do we frustrate them? How do we keep the crowd quiet or the Liverpool fans quiet? Can we do that? Can we bring the tempo of the game down, and can we impose ourselves on it? So there's quite a lot of information in just a short period of time for me to put together to try and deliver a package the best way we can to play the best way we can to try and cause Liverpool as many problems as possible.
But does the fact that Jurgen's thinking about that you getting the upper hand already make any difference?
God, he shouldn't be too worried about the way his team's playing about me at the moment, don't you think? I mean, if I was sat in his position with the team that he has got, and the players that he's got available for him to choose from. Like, I mean, it's it's a wonderful situation he's in at the moment. It's not just that; it's the confidence that they seem to have at the minute. The 1 and 2 touch football, the movement that they have. It's very, very good, but it can be stopped. And if our players want to go out there and deliver a top level performance, to stop them first. But like I said, after that, in possession, we get possession. We're going to have to maximise that possession and cause them a few problems. We can do that if we do it in the right way. We managed to do it last year, and even after, I mean, for me, after going 1-0 down at Anfield, it's not often a team who was struggling against relegation can actually come back and win it. Like, you mean, but we did. But the last thing we want to do is go 1-0 down on Sunday.
Just finally, I could hear the rain smashing at the windows through there as well. They're expecting heavy snow, I think, on Sunday as well. Could that also help you in terms of maybe they can't play good football because of the weather?
Not with pitches today. The drainage systems and the undersoil eating suction systems undersoil these days. I don't know whether Liverpool have undersoil suction to draw out the water if it gets a bit heavy or not. But wind up might be a problem. But yet again, the stadium's so enclosed today that might not be as big a factor. It might be very, very windy outside, but may not be a bigger factor inside. Not really.
Eleanor, last one, please.
Can I just ask you about team news, Sam? Are you selecting from the same squad as last week?
Well, I think that the squad will be assessed at what comes back from last night's game. They arrived back today, and I think that tomorrow would be us putting that squad together with the lads that got left behind. Like I say, we're waiting of Phil Jagielka. I saw Yannick Bolasie training with us, and James MacArthur, who I missed before, who's very important that we try and get back. So, excuse me if I missed one or two, Brian. You should have wrote me a note there and give it to me, so make me look better. So sorry, but we've got to get those players back. But Phil Jagielka could be fit. Yannick Bolasie started training with us, which is good news. And like I said about the others, would be let's get him back in the squad as quickly as possible.
So do you think, is Yannick not far away then? Do you think?
I think a couple of games in the 23s or a behind closed door game now, as long as there's no reaction to the knee, and then we could see him on the subs bench to begin with.
Jackie McCarthy, is he?
He's coming. He's starting. He starts a game as well. I tend to be a little bit more, easier with him because of reoccurrence. James seems to have had quite a lot of reoccurrence of a similar injury, so I'd be, a little bit more, wary of that. Put blooding him back into the team. But yeah, games behind closed doors or games in the 23s, and then again back in the squad, which hopefully by the end of January, I have a massive headache on selection problems and new signings coming in.
About the same time you've got to face Liverpool again in the cup.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, guys.
Sam,
Cheers.
McCarthy now that we've got